The first rays of sunlight spread across the sky, endless lands stretching out, rivers meandering through fertile plains, forests within sight. This was China before civilization. At first, this land was desolate and untamed, governed by the forces of nature. But two great leaders emerged from the chaos, the Emperor and Yandi, together laying the foundations of a new civilization. In a dimly lit, quiet room, a woman gave birth to a child marked with a flame symbol on his hand. The elder midwife declared her birth a sign from the heavens. An emperor was born with yellow light filling the room. His father saw this as an omen, a sign foretelling that the emperor was destined for greatness. Young Di, while learning farming from his father, exhibited a profound connection with the earth as the crops he touched grew rapidly. And the villagers began to honor him as a prodigy. The emperor, still a boy, was observing stars and winds, creating a primitive sundial to mark time, and his tribe began to consider him a prodigious child. Yandi healed the villager using herbs, demonstrating his healing knowledge. Villagers revered him as the Flame Emperor, king of their guardian. The emperor devised the plow, instructing his people in constructing dwellings and tools. They viewed him as a wise ruler, fated to guide them to affluence, versus the tranquil inception of the emperor, with eyes gleaming crimson. In shadows, thunder signifying impending turmoil. A gentleman from warriors transpired. He held us on a lot. He claimed the seventh skill decrease. He would outshine nations, and instead of all of his fathers involved in liberty, and further recognizing control courtesy. But his first, he captured the emperor. And he had a laugh. In fact, he'd totivate. He's a strongly dreamed of a scientist. Rapidly, distortedly, body demonstrating his philosophy. Some desolation of salary. Turmoil, the emperor and Yankee stood before the troops, effortlessly advising on the adversary's might. The emperor always fair. He convened his advisors to orchestrate module tactics, utilizing positions to ascertain the prime timing for assault. His tactics were intricate, emphasizing finesse and modern insights. The anxious Woods petitioned the emperor and the Flame Emperor for their safeguard. As they cautioned of the foe's might and cunning, the emperor resolved to gear up for conflict. He summoned his advisors to craft war tactics, employing his insightful foresight to foresee the best moment for assault. His schemes were pressing, routed in immediate martial prowess. While the next day, the Flame Emperor praised his soldiers, drilling them with intense and powerful methods, and instructing them to bring honor in warfare, to defend the territory at all costs. The townsfolk saw him as a paternal figure, and the grand legions of EOR were gathering, made up of valiant fighters, one more brutal than the other. They donned dark armor, creating an ethereal path with the Pufferfish tribe. The first battle between the Emperor's and Jews' forces, a small skirmish, showcased the might of the warriors. But the Emperor's strategy prevailed. Their swords, unleashed by the Master's elemental power, conjured wild storms marking the Emperor's troops. Jews' army began to overpower the Emperor's forces. Tension rose. The Emperor's prowess became apparent, as he predicted the enemy's movements and shielded his men accordingly. The Emperor showcased his technological invention, the compass, commanding his troops with precision across the battlefield. Despite the storm, the Shadow Emperor and the Flame Emperor realized they must unite their forces, prepared for the ultimate showdown. Knowing the battle's outcome would determine the nation's fate, the two armies faced off the Emperor and the Flame Emperor, leading their joint forces while Jiu lead his own. The air was tense, the ground shook, and the Emperor and his charioteers braced their muscles, Jiu with his divisions, the Emperor with agility and gratitude expressed in each powerful blow. The Flame Emperor gathered his troops atop a mountain, wounded but refusing to yield. Under his leadership, they fiercely repelled Jiu's soldiers. The Emperor ultimately struck a strategic blow. The battlefield fell silent. Jiu's reign ended amid ruins, with soldiers wounded and lost on all sides. Ultimately, the Emperor and the Flame Emperor claimed victory. After the battle, they united the tribes with a concerted effort, leading a grand assembly to bring peace to the land. And celebrating with the people, joy resounded in song and dance, under the guidance of the Emperor and the Flame Emperor. As civilization was born and the people began a new chapter.